All right, so back to where we were. I jumped the gun and collapsed things a little too early. So I'm going to come back in here and break these things apart and then go for trying to get them all lined up again. I'll show you why I'm doing this. If you want to test your tiling really fast, then grab this back plane, zoom out so you have the document to 100% because we've set it up to be square, and then grab that back plane and press F and make sure you turn on the other one, and there we go. And then come up here, I did it a second ago, I'll do it again. Come up here and say grab doc, and this will be a height map it makes, so I'm going to export it out. I'm going to export it over the old one, which is tiling test, open, and the reason I say do it this way is just super fast, so you can see how close you are and you can see which ones are the problems. So I'm going to go then over to Photoshop, and inside Photoshop, I'm going to come in here and look at what I have. And the easiest way to see how tiling works inside of something like Photoshop is we know the file is 204080 or 2048. So we come up to filter and we go down to other and then we say offset. And in offset, if you type this, whatever you type here and whatever you type here, will move it in that direction. Now I don't need vertical right now, but I do see there's a bigger gap. I probably want to fix that too. I'm just showing you these problems so you can fix them on your own too. There's really no set version way to do this, but I can see there's a problem right here. I can see there's a problem right here, and I probably want to pull this one down and this one up and things like that. And I'm not real crazy that they tile. I'm doing this really hackery, so I expect you guys will do it a little bit better. But I'll take care of this one so it doesn't look the same. So that's why I'm coming back in here, is to look at what I've done and see where I messed up, because obviously I messed up when I moved it over just a little. I must have moved it down a little bit. Pretty much that looks like what I did in both these cases, even though it's the same brick. And it's actually pretty good. I mean, this brick and this brick are the only problems I have, so these really 2 bricks or 4 bricks. Not too bad. Everything else looks pretty good. So let's go back over to ZBrush. So this is what was making that map that we looked at. So what do we do? How do we get this brick and this brick and this brick and this brick? Because remember, those are 4 bricks that are lining up incorrectly. If I push Shift F, but if I push that, and I can see now that my polygroups are all one group. So how do I separate out these 4 from the other bricks? What we're going to do is we're going to go into polygroups, which is down here in the menus. And we're going to say auto groups. And it'll take every object that's in here and separate it into its own polygroup. Every separate piece, sub-object if you want. So now I've got them all separate. Now what do? Well, now I push Control-Shift and I click on one of the 4 bricks. It doesn't really matter which one. And it'll hide everything but the one I've selected. And then if I Control-Shift and drag down, it makes that green box like I'm going to hide part of it, but I don't select anything. I just do it off to the edge or let go of the click. It will unhide everything else and hide this, so it inverts the hidden stuff. The cool thing is now whatever I select in here with the Control Shift button on will hide instead of hide everything else. So if I click on this, it hides this, just like it hit that. I'm going to hide this one and I'm going to hide this one. I mean, these are all what I want to keep. Everything else I want to separate out, but these I want to keep, so I'm going to push Control W to put them back into the same polygroup. Then I'm going to Control Shift and drag down, and it'll invert the selection again, and I'll push Control W again. And this time, I don't have it over here, but inside Subtools, there's also a split menu. Inside the split menu, I want a split hidden. So what I've done is I've broken these 4 bricks out from this one, so I don't have to do any more work on this one. I can hide it. They're fine for now. What do I want to do? I want to break these 2 off and leave these 2 on. And if you remember what I talked about, if you Control and drag, just Control and drag, it'll select those. And now if I push Control W, it makes them a whole new polygroup. I hope you see where I'm going. I'm going to grab Control Shift, grab these, which makes those hidden, and still these bricks are safe because they're a whole separate piece. And then I can say delete hidden. And now I've gone back to just having these 2 bricks as separate pieces. And again, I could do it one more time, just like this, and then instead of going delete hidden, I can say split hidden. So now I've got 2 bricks, so I've got the 2 bricks separated out, and I'm ready to go. So let's start with this top one here. Just to take a look at where its position is in the scheme of things, I noticed that it's a little bit too close up here, and it feels a little squished, and it does down on the bottom one too. So I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and maybe even give this some little breathing room right there, just like that. So what we can do now is I'm going to change my tool to just a regular old move tool or something so we don't have the big object in front of it. But what we can do is if we push F, it'll zoom in as close as it can to this, and I like it a little bit closer. I don't need it that close. And what we're going to do at this point is show you a new tool. And I'm going to make a video just about these tools, but we got to get through this. So if I hold Control Shift, you remember how we talked about holding Control Shift and it changes the actual brush up here to the brush for hiding things? If I click on that brush just like it was a brush menu, I get a bunch of different options. We're going to go over to Slice Rect, just that one. And you'll see it change the icon up here. So what I'm going to do in this case is Shift Control Drag as close as I can get it to that edge and then let go. To that. So I hope you see what I just did. I just made it super easy to know where it's supposed to line up. I should have done this before, but again, there's so many tools I gotta go over with you that sometimes I skip ones thinking that it'll be easier, but in this case it wasn't. So now I've got this brick. It's still one brick. I've just cut it into two different polygroups. Now I've got this exactly, I know exactly where it needs to line up on the other side because that's where the last one was. And now I need to figure out how to move it. Well, really quick, I should probably duplicate it because I want to make a copy of it for the other side. So Control Shift D is duplicate, or you can push the duplicate button. You can see it says right there, Control Shift D. And then I'm going to use my move tool. But instead of moving it by hand, first thing I'm going to do, just so I make sure everything seems right, is I'm going to go to the geometry menu and open up the position menu. And in the position menu, you'll see there's a negative 3.1853. And that's for both those bricks, but I'm selected the second brick right now. So all I really need to do is come up to that first brick, click on it. It won't let me double click in the exact spot, but if I go back arrow or left arrow, it'll jump to the end of that. And then I'm going to delete the minus. So it's now positive 3.0 once I push enter, and pop, it's over on the other side. And it should be pretty close. See, but it's not exactly right, and it may be enough, but we're going to go ahead and make it perfect. So I pushed the W key, which makes the move tool show up, but you'll notice it didn't show up here. What happened is it showed up where it last was on this object, the center point of it. So to get it to pop over here, I just have to click this button, and then it pops over here. Now, with it over here, I can now move it just in one direction, and there. Now, let's just test it, shall we? Okay, I'm going to come up and grab that plane in the background. I can push Alt and just select the plane. I'm going to push F, F. Oh, that's right. I'm not zoomed in anymore. I'm going to test it. I have to come up to document. I should just make a shortcut for this. Pull this in, and then go F, F, and now it's perfectly centered. I know this one's not right, but we'll fix that in a second. And then I'm going to say alpha, grab doc, and then I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to say export. I'm just going to write over the old one, tiling test, and say yes. Come back to Photoshop and don't save the one I've opened, and then open it back up. And you'll see that that one's right there. This is the one we're looking at. Let's see if it lines up this time. So if I say filter, and I should just be able to click, by the way, Control Alt F is the repeat, the last one. But I'll just do it this way. And look at that. Perfect. Perfectly lined up. So that's how you do it. If you fix it, you need to fix any of your bricks. And I'll do the next one, speed through it for you, and I'll see you on the other side. And there you have it. All set up. Perfect. All our issues are gone. And I'll post this right away so you guys have some more heads up.